I want to talk about a very dark period in my life when I didn't want to live anymore and the thought of taking my life crossed my mind. I'm not proud of that period, but it did happen. And I'm sharing this today with the hope that somebody out there listening to this may change their mind, just like I did at that time, and I live to tell the tale. It's very difficult to understand or even describe what is going through a person when thoughts of committing suicide enter their mind. And I am definitely not here to judge anybody who's done that. I'm not here to judge any life. But I do understand that the key lies in working on ourselves way before we get to a point where we think of taking a drastic step to end our lives. The spectrum of emotions the mind is dealing with at that point is very hard to explain, and there's too much going on in the mind. In retrospect, I can see that I was not thinking straight, but at that time it seemed very clear. It seemed like the only available choice I had with my life, which was to end it, ironically. I remember feeling that my world was turning upside down, that I was not willing to face myself, my parents, or the ridicule of the world, which I imagined. I was unwilling to see any possibility of any other future than the one I had previously desired and imagined. And the unwillingness doesn't show up as an unwillingness. There is a level of control there, there's a level of affinity there, but it doesn't show up directly as an unwillingness. It shows up as an inability to fathom anything else. And the spectrum of emotions is very diverse and very crazy. At the core deep level, there is an issue of extreme unworthiness. And that unworthiness plays out in such a way where at a very deep level, you're feeling unworthy of yourself. And at another level, you say that, okay, I'm really worthy and the world is not worthy to have me, so I'm gonna go. Something like that. The spectrum lies between extreme rage and extreme hurt, extreme regret and shame, and extreme feelings of wanting to take revenge. All these things, revenge by literally by once I do this to myself, then the person I want to teach a lesson to will really understand the pain or the agony, or will feel bad or feel hurtful, and therefore the revenge. It's a very convoluted state of mind. It's a dark place. It's a dark place, and I'm so grateful. The one thought that saved me, I thought of my parents. Now, during those days in my life when I was going through the tough period, I unwittingly had shut them out of my life. I didn't mean to do that, but I was just not in communication with them because I think the feelings I was dealing with internally is that if they saw me so hurt and if they saw me in so much pain, then they would get really upset. And I wanted to avoid them that level of upset, ironically. And then I thought of something so drastic. But in that moment, what saved me is I thought of my parents. And I immediately realized that it is so much better that if my parents have to weep, they cry with me over the state of the way my life was, if that's what it was. But they don't cry over me. And that's when I made the decision. They rather cry with me than over me. And that saved my life. During that time, my friends were my pillar of strength. I borrowed bits of courage from them whenever I felt low. They were there all the time. Really dear friends. And one of those very dear friends is now my husband. And I never knew I could be so blessed and I would feel so grateful for life. It's very important for us to understand that a temporary problem doesn't need to become a permanent one. And if we are willing to step into the unknown, the next hour that we are going to face is not known to us. The next day is uncertain. But if we are willing to say, all right, I'm willing to let go and let go of the the things I had in my mind for my life and my future. And I'm willing to embrace whatever the new future, the unknown future will bring. And we're ready to embrace uncertainty to a degree. That gives us resilience. And I think resilience in action is a willingness to value yourself enough to give yourself another chance. And that's what resilience in action looked like for me in my life. I remember going through a lot of therapy, a lot of counseling, and doing a lot of gratitude journaling at that point in my life. I still do. Now, gratitude it's pretty much the oil in your machine that makes your life run. It's a lock that opens up your mind to be willing to embrace the idea that something might be just okay. Just okay. And as you keep practicing gratitude, you realize, heck, it's kind of better than okay. It's quite nice actually. And you get to a point where slowly you start having more to be grateful for. In my journey, I slowly started building little joys for myself every day, creating little pieces of happiness to make myself mentally healthy and wholesome again. And this is what gratitude in practice looks like, especially when you're very down and out. Now, gratitude's basic premise is that look at the glass half full rather than the glass half empty. But on certain days when you're very low, you realize that your glass doesn't even have a drop of water, it's dry. Then you learn to be grateful for the glass. Sometimes I realized that I didn't even have a glass. And I learned to be grateful for the table that the glass would stand on. Sometimes there was nothing, no water, no glass, no table, nothing. Then I learned to be grateful for my eyes, that I could see that. So yes, I've been grateful for my eyes, my fingernails, my nose, and what have you. Whatever it took. When we're very upset mentally, we don't sleep very well at night. So the nights I managed to sleep, I was grateful that I slept. And the nights I didn't sleep, I was grateful that I had a place to sleep. So that's what gratitude in action looks like. And that's what you got to do. Give yourself a chance. Give life a chance. It can be full of surprises and so worth it. Not everything in life can be planned the way you think you set out first to dream and plan your life, which is great, by the way. But not everything in life can be controlled all the time. Not even how other people will react to you or may or may not ridicule you, may or may not like you. That's okay, that's on them. If you're someone who lost somebody to suicide, I'm really sorry. I don't mean you to be hurting any more than I'm sure you must be. It's very difficult. I have lost very dear family members and friends in the same way, and the pain is just, it doesn't go away. Please seek help. I request you to do therapy, seek counseling, seek support of any kind, whatever necessary, and come to a point where you get closure for yourself. Because the answers to the questions you have are never coming. If you ever think life is tough, ask yourself, compared to what? And how can anyone be so sure that the alternative to life will be any easier on ourselves or others? Please realize that every little action we take in our life has a ripple effect in our environment and our universe. It affects, it's got consequences that follow. It would be so amazing if all the people in the world took the responsibility of their thoughts and their actions before they took their actions and realized that They have a responsibility here. And somebody down the line somewhere stands to get affected by whatever action we're taking today, no matter how little or how big. And please remember, nothing in your life, no event, no circumstance is greater than your capacity to handle it. I remember thinking to myself later on that I am far more valuable than the thing that I was about to throw my life away for. And there was a phrase I repeated very often to myself at that time, and I still go by it. I used to tell myself over and over again that I'm a work in progress and it's okay to be so. And I don't need to judge myself in a hurry. In fact, I'm still a work in progress. We all are. And I think that's the beauty of life. We get to be a work in progress. We don't have to get it all perfect or even get it all done. That's what life is. That's why we're here.